Have you ever imagined writing a letter to God? And what if He actually replied?
Hello, friends. Let's dive into A Letter to God by G.L. Fuentes. It's this short but really powerful story that gets you thinking about the incredible strength of faith and, well, how it can also lead to a pretty massive misunderstanding. And right away, the story hits you with this huge question. It's really the heart of the whole thing. I mean, when your world completely falls apart, where do you put your trust? A higher power? Or maybe the people right there next to you? Let's see what our main character decides. So first things first, let's meet our guy Lencho. He's a farmer and his life is simple. His entire world, his hopes, his fears, it's all tied up in the piece of land he works every single day. So just picture it. There's this one single house all alone in a valley. And from there, Lencho is looking out at his field of ripe corn. He knows he's done all the hard work. Now all he needs is one good downpour, just one good rain, and his family is set for the year. You can just feel him, waiting, hoping. But you know how stories go. That powerful hope for rain is about to turn into something so much worse. The promise from the sky becomes a total nightmare. And this quote, it just perfectly captures his joy at the beginning. When those first drops start to fall, Lencho is just thrilled. He literally sees them as money falling from the sky. The big drops are like 10-cent pieces. The little ones are fives. He thinks his future is secure. And then it all goes wrong. The rain turns into a massive hailstorm. For an entire hour, these huge hailstones just hammer his field, his garden, everything. When it's over, the entire field is white, like it's covered in salt. The corn is completely gone. As Lencho says, even a plague of locusts would have been kinder. So he's facing total ruin. His family might starve. But Lencho doesn't despair. Instead, he turns to the only hope he has left. And his solution? Well, trust me, it's not what you're thinking. It's kind of amazing, really. In the face of this absolute disaster, his faith is so pure, so solid, that his one and only thought is, I'll ask God for help. He truly believes God sees everything. And since he knows how to write, he sits down and does just that. And what he writes is just so direct. There's no fancy, flowery prayer. He just lays it out. God, the hail ruined everything. I need exactly 100 pesos to plant my field again and get my family through the year. Then he puts it in an envelope and addresses it simply to God. Okay, so this letter, this symbol of pure, unshakable faith, lands in the very human world of the post office. And the reaction from the people there is what really pushes the story in a whole new direction. Can you just imagine? The postman is sorting the mail and he finds this letter. He just starts laughing out loud. I mean, in his whole career, he's never seen an address like that. He takes it to his boss, the postmaster, who also starts laughing. But pretty quickly, that laughter stops. And this is a huge turning point. The postmaster is genuinely moved. He's just stunned by how sincere this man's belief is. He thinks, wow, I don't want to shake this guy's faith. In fact, I wish I had faith like that, enough to write a letter to God. So he gets this idea. A really great idea, actually. He decides he's going to answer the letter himself. He puts in some of his own salary. He asks his employees to chip in, and he even gets some friends to give money for what he calls an act of charity. He's basically trying to be God's middleman, to keep this man's faith alive. And here it is, the big twist. This act of pure human kindness, inspired by this incredible faith, leads to a conclusion that nobody, and I mean nobody could have seen coming. So, quick reminder, Lencho was very clear. He didn't just ask for money. He asked for 100 pesos. Not 99, not 101, 100. But even with everyone pitching in, the postmaster and his friends could only scrape together 70 pesos. It was a lot, but it wasn't the full amount. So they put the 70 pesos in an envelope, signed it with a single word, God, and felt pretty good about what they'd done. And this is the wild part. When Lencho gets the letter, he's not surprised at all. Not one bit. He fully expected God to answer. The surprise would have been not hearing back. But then he counts the cash. And he gets absolutely furious. He thinks God would never make a mistake like this. So he immediately grabs a pen and writes a second letter. And in it, he says, God, of the money I asked for, only 70 pesos got to me. Send me the rest. But please don't send it through the mail, because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. Yep, the very people who helped him, he accuses of being thieves. So what are we supposed to make of all this? The story leaves us with this powerful, kind of bittersweet message about faith, irony, and how our own perspective can totally change what we see. And the whole punch of the story comes from this thing we call dramatic irony, right? The postmaster does this incredibly kind thing specifically to protect Lencho's faith. But because of that very act of charity, he and his employees end up being called crooks. It's the exact opposite of what anyone would expect. And that brings us right back to that big idea from the beginning. Lencho's faith in God is so complete, so absolute, that it literally blinds him to the kindness and goodness of the actual human beings right in front of him. It leaves you wondering, can faith, even when it's totally pure, sometimes stop us from seeing the humanity in each other?
So in the end, Lencho's faith never broke. But in that same faith, he failed to see the kindness of the people around him. And that leaves us with a question. Can blind faith sometimes stop us from recognizing humanity? If this story made you think, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.